You don't need more time. You don't need more luck. You need a different mindset. Let me ask you something, my friend. How long have you been working hard, but still struggling to get ahead? How many nights have you stared at your bank account, wondering why your effort isn't matching your results? You see, most people think wealth comes from what they do, but the truth is far more powerful. Wealth begins with how you think, not your job, not your degree, not even your talent. It all starts in your mind. Your thoughts are seeds, and if you keep planting fear, doubt, and limitations, don't be surprised if what grows is frustration and lack. You don't have a money problem. You have a mindset problem. And today, we're going to change that. Because once you change your mind, you will change your results. Your actions will follow. Your income will rise. Your life will begin to align with the person you were meant to become. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. But the key word is believe. So let me ask you, what if you've been lied to, not by others, but by your own thoughts? What if your mind is playing for the enemy, and you don't even know it? That ends today, because in the next few minutes, I will show you how to unlock the real machinery of wealth, the thoughts, the focus, the inner attitude that the richest and most powerful men in history understood and used. And if you're ready, let's begin this transformation. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but right now, there's a prison around your mind. It doesn't have walls, it doesn't have guards. It has something far more dangerous: beliefs. You've been told things like, money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. Success is for the lucky, not for people like you. You're not smart enough, not special enough, not ready. And you believed it, not because it was true, but because you heard it enough times, from your parents, your teachers, your environment, even from people who loved you. But here's the truth. Most of those people were never wealthy themselves. They were just passing down fear, not wisdom. And now, those invisible thoughts have become invisible chains. They don't scream, they whisper. Stay safe. Don't try that. You might fail. Better not risk it. That is the voice of defense mode. It protects you from pain, but it also keeps you broke. Because no one ever became wealthy by playing it safe. No one ever built a life of abundance from a mindset of fear, and what's worse, this prison doesn't just limit your income, it limits your identity. You stop asking big questions. You stop believing big dreams. You stop seeing yourself as powerful. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever seen someone less intelligent than you make more money than you? Have you ever watched someone who barely tried still end up with more freedom, more options, more success? And deep down, you felt that sting. Why not me? I'll tell you why. Because intelligence isn't the lock. Mindset is. And until you destroy the thoughts that keep you small, you'll keep living in a reality that matches them. Let me be blunt. Your mindset is either building your future or breaking it. And unless you tear down the prison walls, you'll be stuck in a life you were never meant for. But here's the good news. You built that prison, which means you have the power to tear it down. Right now. So let's get the hammer. Let me share with you the first step that every millionaire, every titan of industry, every true success story had in common. It wasn't money. It wasn't a college degree. It wasn't connections. It was desire, a burning desire, a hunger that refused to die. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Desire is the starting point of all achievement. Think and grow rich," 1937. Not wishful thinking, not daydreams, but a desire so real you can taste it. Let me ask you something. Do you really want to be wealthy? Or do you just like the idea of being wealthy? Because there is a difference. One makes you scroll videos. The other makes you get up and rewrite your future. One says, "Wouldn't it be nice?" The other says, "Whatever it takes." Most people never get rich because they never truly decide to. They hope, they wish, they say someday. But desire doesn't live in someday. It lives in now. And here's what separates burning desire from weak want. 1. Burning desire is specific. You write it down. You speak it out loud. You repeat it until your subconscious believes it. 2. Burning desire creates movement. It doesn't just inspire feelings. It ignites action. It wakes you up early and keeps you up late. 3. Burning desire survives rejection. You will be laughed at, ignored, criticized, but you keep going. Why? Because the fire inside you is bigger than the fear outside you. I don't care what you failed at before. I don't care what odds are against you. I don't care what your bank account says right now. If you can truly want, and I mean obsessively, then nothing can stop you. Not the economy, not your background, not even your current reality. Because when the mind is locked onto a definite desire, the body follows. Opportunities appear. People are drawn to you. Energy flows. You don't need to know everything. You just need to want it bad enough. So here's what I want you to do. Grab a pen right now. Write down exactly what you want financially. Not more money, not freedom. Be precise. I will earn $100,000 this year. I will be debt-free in 12 months. I will start my business by July 1st. Write it, say it, repeat it every morning, every night. That is how desire becomes destiny. And if you don't take that step, then maybe it was never desire at all. Just another wish, fading like the rest. But if you're serious, let's move forward. Because the next step is how we rewire your mind to support that fire. Let me say something radical, and I want you to hear me clearly. Your brain is not fixed. Your mindset is not permanent. Your current way of thinking is just a habit. You are not bad with money. You are not too late to start. You are not broken. You've just been programmed, not by evil, but by repetition, by people who meant well and didn't know better. And that programming, it's running your life right now. But here's the truth they never told you. You can reprogram your mind. You can rewrite the code. You can install new thoughts, new patterns, and a new identity that supports the wealth you desire. It's called neuroplasticity, and it means your brain is always changing, for better or worse. But here's the catch. It won't change by accident. It will only change when you take control of the input. So, let's begin. The first upgrade, replace your beliefs. You've been told money is the root of all evil. No. The love of money without purpose is empty, but money itself? Money is a tool for good. Money is service at scale. It feeds families, it builds schools, it funds dreams. So say this with me now. Money is a tool to expand the good I do in this world. Money flows to me because I serve with value. I deserve to be wealthy because I will use wealth wisely. Next, every morning, before the noise, before the doubt, program your subconscious with power. Look into the mirror and declare, I am not a victim. I am not poor. I am wealthy in thought, and that wealth is showing up in my life. I expect abundance. I attract opportunities. I act boldly. Don't say it once. Say it every day. Say it until your brain has no choice but to obey, because the mind doesn't respond to what's true. It responds to what's repeated. Now take out a pen and rewrite the story. Write it, own it, live it. I used to think I wasn't good enough, but now I'm becoming someone who creates wealth with clarity and confidence. I used to run from risk. Now I run toward responsibility. I used to think success was for them. Now I know it was waiting for me all along. Your story is your software, and every day you have the power to update it. But there's one more piece. Every action you take is driven by a loop. A. Something triggers you. B. You interpret it based on your belief. C. You act, or you freeze, or you run. You get a bill, and you panic. You see someone winning, and you shrink. You feel behind, and you sabotage your own progress. But what if the same trigger created a new belief? What if the bill reminded you of your growing capacity to pay it with ease? What if seeing someone win inspired you instead of intimidating you? What if feeling behind didn't slow you down, but made you pick up the pace? You can't always change the triggers, but you can always change what they mean. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who chooses which thoughts stay. So I ask you now, are you living your own beliefs, or are you living someone else's fears? Because if you don't choose your mindset will be chosen for you. And most of the world is not programming for prosperity. They're programming for survival. But you are no longer here to survive. You are here to thrive, to lead, to become more than you thought possible. And it starts here, right now, with a single decision. I will think like a wealthy person until my life becomes the proof. Let's move on. Because faith and decision, that's where everything changes. There's a power in this world that you cannot measure with logic. You cannot explain it with numbers, but once you activate it, everything changes. That power is faith. Napoleon Hill called it the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. Faith is not religion. Faith is not fantasy. Faith is the ability to see the invisible and act as if it were inevitable. It is the difference between those who start and those who finish, between those who try and those who triumph. Without faith, even the best ideas die in doubt. With faith, even the impossible begins to bend. You see, wealthy people don't just think differently. They decide differently. They make decisions fast. They commit. They move. And once they move, they don't look back every 5 minutes asking, "Did I make the right choice?" They adjust, but they do not retreat. Poor people, they hesitate. They delay. They wait for perfect timing. They want certainty before movement. And in that waiting, life passes them by. Let me say it plainly. You don't need another year. You don't need another plan. You need one decision made with absolute faith, followed by immediate action. And that decision, you already know what it is. You've been carrying it inside you. Maybe for weeks, maybe for years. That thing you've been putting off, that conversation, that investment, that leap. The moment you make that decision, your energy will change, your mind will awaken, and life will respond. Don't tell me you need more time. Time is not the issue. Time doesn't change people. Decisions do. Right now, in this moment, your brain is choosing fight or flight, advance or retreat, build or wait. So I'm asking you, not gently, but urgently, what will you decide? Will you keep delaying the life you know you're meant to live? Or will you act like your future depends on this moment? Because it does. No more postponing power. No more analyzing until you're paralyzed. Right now, make the decision. Decide to think like the wealthy. Decide to act like the leader. Decide to move like someone who knows. They were born for more. Say it with me. Today I decide. No more waiting, no more shrinking, no more doubting. I am the one, and I move forward. Now take a breath. Because your next step is the proof of that decision. And your actions, they start right here. Let's keep going. Let me make something crystal clear. Belief without action is just a dream. Affirmations without effort are empty words. Vision without movement is delusion. You say you believe? Good, now prove it. Because if your mindset is real, it will show up in your feet, in your hands, in your calendar. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when acted upon. Napoleon Hill. You don't get rich by thinking, you get rich by doing. And I'm not talking about doing everything. I'm talking about one move, one action. Right now, let me ask you, what's one thing, just one, that you know you've been avoiding? That uncomfortable phone call? That financial plan you've been putting off for months? That first tiny investment you keep telling yourself you're not ready for? Start there. Pick one and move. Why? Because your brain rewards progress, not perfection. Every time you take a meaningful step, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of motivation. It's your internal reward system. That means this: you don't wait for motivation to act. You act, and motivation follows. The rich understand this. They don't wait until they feel like it. They act themselves into feeling. They know action builds identity, identity builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum, and momentum, that's when the compound effect kicks in. That's when small wins snowball into massive change. One call turns into one connection. One plan turns into one strategy. One $50 investment becomes your first $500 gain. Success doesn't arrive, it accumulates, and every small action you take today is a brick in the empire you're building tomorrow. So here's your assignment. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, choose one of these. 1. Call the person you've been avoiding, the client, the investor, the mentor. 2. Sit down and write your personal financial plan, even if it's just one page. 3. Open your first investment account, even with $10. Doesn't matter how small. It matters that you move, because every step is a signal. It tells your brain, I'm serious, I'm shifting. I'm no longer the person who waits. And once your brain believes you're serious, it gets behind you. It gives you more clarity, more courage, more conviction. So the next time you ask yourself, do I really believe I can become wealthy? Don't answer with words. Answer with action, because mindset isn't what you think. Mindset is what you prove. Let's take that next step together. Momentum is the secret no one talks about, but it's the quiet force behind every visible success. Not one-time motivation, not lucky breaks, not viral moments, just small, consistent action, over time, building, like a wave that never stops. It starts with one new thought, then one new behavior, then one new identity. And before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. That's how change happens. That's how wealth happens. Let me remind you of a name you've heard before, Edwin C. Barnes. He didn't have money. He didn't have education, but he had something better, a decision and a daily resolve. He told himself, I will become a business partner of Thomas Edison. Not an employee, not a fan, a partner. People laughed, but Barnes didn't stop. He showed up at Edison's lab. He worked low jobs, he waited, he watched, and he repeated that vision to himself every day, until one day, the opportunity appeared. Edison launched a new invention, and Barnes was the only one who truly believed in it. That belief, cultivated through repetition, turned him into a millionaire. Now listen closely. Wealth is not built in breakthroughs. It's built in rhythm. That means you need a ritual, a mental rhythm, to keep your mind pointed toward wealth. So let me give you a simple one. Every morning, before the world invades your thoughts, say these 3 lines out loud. 1. I'm the kind of person who takes ownership of my life. 2. I create wealth through focus, faith, and follow-through. 3. My momentum builds daily, and nothing can stop it. Say it with power. Say it with posture. Say it like your future is listening, because it is. These words are not just affirmations. They are instructions to your nervous system. They program your emotions. They prime your focus. They align your identity. Because once your identity shifts, your habits change effortlessly. You no longer try to think rich. You are rich in mind. You no longer hope for success. You expect it. You don't chase wealth. You attract it by becoming the kind of person it belongs to. This is not hype. This is neuroscience. Every time you repeat this pattern, your brain lays a deeper groove, and that groove becomes momentum, and that momentum becomes inevitable change. So, let me ask you, are you moving once in a while, or are you building momentum? Because if you're not building it, you're breaking it. If you're not fueling the fire, it's dying. So from this day forward, no more start-stop. No more when I feel like it. You move daily. You affirm daily. You act daily. And soon, the gap between who you are and who you were born to be will close. Let's keep going. The final key is waiting. Now you've seen the fire. You've felt the shift. You've broken through old patterns. But let me tell you something even more important than starting. It's staying on the path, staying in alignment, staying loyal to the vision you claimed for yourself. Wealth is not a single decision. It's a cycle. And here's the blueprint. Thought, emotion, action, result, reinforce thought. You think wealthy, you feel empowered. You feel empowered, you act with confidence. You act with confidence, you get results. You get results. Your brain says, see, I knew it. And that's how identity is built. Not in one moment, but through repetition. But if you drift, if you forget who you're becoming, the old thoughts sneak back in, and the cycle reverses. That's why you need a daily reset. Not once a year, not on your birthday. Every single day. So here are 5 questions I want you to ask yourself every morning before the world grabs your attention. 1. Am I thinking like the wealthy or the worried? Because you cannot hold both thoughts in the same mind. 2. Am I living in reaction, or am I creating my reality today? The rich initiate, the poor respond. 3. Am I procrastinating on what matters most? Every day you delay the hard thing. You delay your breakthrough. 4. Am I moving with faith or hesitating with fear? Faith takes the first step, even when the staircase isn't clear. 5. Am I honoring who I used to be or who I'm becoming? Because you can't grow if you're still trying to please your past. Let those 5 questions anchor you, guide you, pull you back to your power when you start to slip. Because if you don't direct your mind, the world will. And the world will tell you to settle, to shrink, to wait. But you're not here for that. You're here to think richer, act bolder, and live fuller. So let me leave you with this. Wealth doesn't come to the smartest. It comes to the most consistent, to the one who chooses every day to align their mind with their mission. Not perfectly, but persistently. You want the master key? Here it is. Keep thinking like the wealthy, even when your bank account says otherwise. Even when your surroundings say impossible. Even when your fear says not yet. Because if you think rich long enough, you will act rich. And if you act rich long enough, you will become it. So ask yourself now, and every day that follows, what kind of person am I choosing to be today? Now, you've seen the truth. You've seen how mindset builds emotion, how emotion drives action, and how action, over time, builds wealth. So let me tell you what this all comes down to. Your thoughts are the foundation, your actions are the hammer, and your wealth is the masterpiece you build every single day. No one else is coming. No one else will do this for you. The future you want, the freedom you crave, the legacy you dream of. It will be built, not by chance, but by your own mind. So I leave you with this. You are the author of your destiny. You are the architect of your future, and today, not tomorrow, is the first page of that new chapter. But now, it's time to commit. Not to me, to yourself. Right now, in the comments below, write just one belief. One wealthy belief you will carry with you from this day forward. Maybe it's, I create value, and money flows to me. Or, I am worthy of wealth, and I think like someone who already has it. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's yours, as long as it's real, as long as it comes from the future version of you speaking to the present. Write it, own it, and let it be your first brick in the empire you were born to build. Because you, my friend, you are not a victim of life. You are the one writing the story, and the pen is still in your hand.